sequencing problem, you'll have to know for your n jobs, n machines. The important, if you see n jobs, n machines, n jobs, 3 machines, and then we've got n jobs, 2 machines. Okay. So for your n jobs, n machines, you'll have to see whether that condition is satisfied. Okay. Minimum of your row 1 machine n1 must be greater than or equal to maximum of any machine. Okay. If it is greater, the condition is satisfied. If that first condition is not getting satisfied, you have another condition, which is your minimum of your last machine. Okay, minimum of your last machine must be greater than or equal to maximum of your any machine. Okay, so maximum of any machine, if it is getting that's satisfied, you will make it into 2 fictitious
I'm more than
mode is not seen, but you're able to see. Wait one. You can tap me 2 times so that you can. Now you're able to see.
yes, ma'am.
I've actually spotlighted, so I think. So what you'll have to do is, so the sequencing problem we had finished till here, and then we went into graphical method. Graphical method also, I told you how you have to draw that graphical method. In the x-axis, you will take your job 1. In the y-axis, you will take your job 2. You will find, according to the order which is being given in the question, you will draw your machines. Okay, you will draw your values. Okay, the sequencing values, you will just sequence it. Whatever values you have been given to M1, M2, M3, and so on, you will add and go. Okay, in your job 1, and similarly in your job 2 also you will add, and then you will join. Okay, wherever there is coinciding, that box will become your M1 machine. M1, M2, M2, you will take it to your job 1 and your job 2, and then find out that region and shade it. Okay, whatever region you have shaded, after that you take your protractor, use it as your 45 degree, you mark it and see whether there's any idle time. If there is idle time, you will add your idle time. If there's no idle time, whatever is your last value, that will become your total elapsed time. Okay, so we have finished with your unit 3. Okay, in your syllabus, it is your unit 4. Okay, now we will go on to the next unit. Your next unit is game theory. Okay, your next unit is game theory. We will first go on to definitions in your game theory. Okay, first we will write down the game theory definitions, then we will go on to problems. This is also very easy, okay, if you understand the concept. Okay, so since sequencing problem is over, you have 4 types in your sequencing problem. You have n jobs, 2 machines, n jobs, 3 machines, n jobs, n machines. Okay, and then you've got a graphical method where there will be only 2, you'll be having only 2 jobs and n machines, okay, in your graphical method. So all the 4 topics are very important in this unit. Okay, now we are going into your next unit, which is your game theory. Okay, so put today's date and we will continue. What is today's date? 10/3. Okay. So from the name game theory, what do you understand? Next unit is your game theory. So what do you know? What is game? Game means what? What is game? I want you to answer. We are going into game theory. In this, we are starting with game. What is game? And how do you define a game? What are the characteristics of a game? All those things we will be writing it down. And then going into the problems. So first you have to know what is a game. What is game? You tell me.
Game means okay, something
Tell me.
playable, ma'am.
What you are, so what is it actually? You're going to have some fight for whatever it is. Okay, you're going to win or lose. Okay, it is a, what do you say? You're going to play it for what?
To win.
8 for, yeah. Okay, so that is what you're going to do it here. You'll be finding out your maximum value, your minimum value. Okay, in that itself, what you will be doing is minimum of your maximum of your minimum value, all those things. Combinations of lot of things together forms your game theory. Okay, so write your heading as game theory and we will go on to definition of game. So according to your syllabus, this is your last unit. Okay, your syllabus. So, what is a game? A competitive situation or competitive situation, competitive situation is called a game. Then main characters, main characteristics of game theory. You have some characteristics of game theory. They can ask you in 2 marks. There are actually 5. I will write it. Or I will tell it, you will write number of persons or groups playing the game. Okay, that will be the first one. First one is number of persons or groups playing the game. Playing the game. Then the second one, number of activities. Number of activities. Of activities which may be finite or infinite. May be finite or infinite. May be finite or infinite. Third one is your type of your strategy. Type of strategy. These are the main characteristics of game theory. Fourth one is each player has a number of allocation. Here this is number, okay. Has a number of alternative available during a particular play. This also it may be finite or infinite. Okay. The last one is One is the amount of information amount of about the past activities about the past activities about the past activities of the players information about the past activities of other players other players the players to a player maybe complete partial or none partial or none. For this, you can have a nice example like now you've started playing in your online games, isn't it? If at all you had done your online games, whatever game you've downloaded, if you have done it already, okay, and you're asking some other friend of yours to join that game and play with you, you will definitely win at least one game before he starts to understand how you'll have to play that game. Yes, so that is what is your last information. So the past activities, if you know it, then you will be able to win that game. Okay, if at all, it will be actually you will have at least 1 to 2 games. You will lose it, and then you will start winning the game. Okay, so all these things will be the characteristics of your game theory. So write it down. If you're finished writing, tell me. Have you finished writing? Yes, sir. If you finish writing, tell me so that I will go on to the next definition.
No, ma'am.
First is number of persons or groups playing the game. First, you'll have to know how many persons are going to play. Okay, that will be your first point. Number of activities, which may be finite or infinite. Okay, how many ever activities which is being involved in that game. Okay, and your types of strategy. So one game you have to play one way one way, such a way that the next your team which is opposite will lose. You will know that, isn't it? So if you do something like that, that person will definitely lose. Okay, you will have some strategy. That is your third point. Your fourth point: each player has a number of alternative available during a particular play. Okay, each individual. Okay, this is individuality. So each individual will have a definite set of thinking, definite set of playing the game. Okay, so that will be your fourth point, and your fifth point I told you already. So if at all you've done it already, and you know about that person who have played that game or is not played that game, definitely according to that person you will play the game. Okay, so that these are the characteristics of your game theory. finished writing? Still you are writing. Next, we will go on to 2% zero sum. Next heading will be 2% zero sum. Zero sum games. So 2% zero sum game is nothing but if you play the game and both the sides, if you're going to become zero, then it is a 2% zero sum game. Okay. If the algebraic sum, you write it along with me so that you don't waste your time. Okay. If the algebraic sum of sum gains or losses, the algebraic sum of gains and losses of all the players, gains and losses of all the players, all the players, algebraic sum of gains and losses of all the players is zero in a game, is zero in a game, then such game then such game is called zero sum games. All are very important. These in 2 marks they can ask you this definition. What is zero sum games? Write your characteristics of game theory. What is a game? Everything they can ask you. So you have to know all the definition. Zero sum games. If at all, if the gain and loss is not equal to zero, okay. Otherwise, then if it is not equal to zero, otherwise the game is called a non-zero sum game. Okay, if it is equal to zero, it is called a zero sum game. If it is not equal to zero, then it is called as a non-zero sum game. So when they are asking you the definition of your non-zero sum games, if at all they are asking you what is a non-zero sum game, you write what is your zero sum games, then write otherwise the game is called as your non-zero. Otherwise, what if you can write? If it is not equal to zero, it is a non-zero sum games. Next heading will be pure strategy. Next heading is pure strategies. Pure strategies. For your pure strategies, write it down. If a player knows exactly what the other player if a player knows exactly what the other player is going to do, the other player is going to do, a deterministic situation is obtained. A deterministic situation is obtained and objective function and the objective function is to maximize and the objective function is to maximize the gain. Maximize the gain. Therefore, the pure strategy, therefore, the pure strategy is the decision rule. It's a decision rule. Always, it's a decision rule. Always to select a particular course of action. Right? Select particular course of action. Select a particular course of action. So that is your pure strategy. After pure strategy, you'll have to know what is your payoff matrix. So this is important. Yes, zero sum games is important. Non-zero games means what is it? You have to know. You have to know what is your pure strategy. The pure strategy means if a player knows exactly what the other player is going to do, a deterministic situation is obtained where your objective function is to maximize the gain. Okay, in your pure strategy, your important condition is your objective function is to maximize the gain. Okay, in your pure strategy, you'll have to know that. So that will be the key point. Therefore, the pure strategy is the decision rule always to select a particular course of action. Okay, and next is your payoff matrix. one will be your payoff. Payoff matrix. Zero sum games with two players. Zero sum games. You know what is your zero sum games? Okay. Zero sum games with two players. Zero sum games with two players are called rectangular games. Are called rectangular. Are called rectangular games. In this case, that is if it is a gain or loss. Okay, if it is a gain or loss, okay, of one player of one player is exactly the, in this case if the of one player is exactly equal to the gain or loss, exactly equal to the gain or loss of the other. The gains resulting from this, the gains resulting from a two-person zero-sum game can be represented in the matrix form. Usually called the payoff matrix. Which is called as the payoff matrix. So all these definitions are very, very important. Okay. After this, we will go on to the problems. Okay, so you have to know what is a game. You need to know the characteristics of your game theory. You have to know what is pure strategy. What is this payoff matrix? Okay. Now next we will go on to problems. Before going into the problem, we will write the procedure. Okay. Have you finished writing this? Write down your payoff matrix. Next we will go on to the maxi min and mini max. Minimax principle. First, we will write the procedure. Then we will go on to problems. Okay. So from the name itself, maxi minimum value. Maximum value from your minimum value. Minimum value from your maximum value. Okay. What you should do, I will tell you now. Have you finished writing? I will rub it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this, according to this principle, your procedures will be: first one, find the row minima. Find the row minima. Okay, in your row, you will find out the minimum value and column maxima. And from the column, you will find out the maximum value. Okay, that will be the first step. So from the row, you will find out the minimum value. From the column, you will find out the maximum value. Second step, write maximum value. Write maximum value from row minima and which is your minimax. Is your minimax. So which is your minimax? Your maximum value from your row minimum. That will become your minimax. And your third step, write your minimum value. Write minimum value. You'll write your minimum value from column maxima. From column maxima, which is, now this will become what? You're writing from your column maxima, so that will become maximum. It will become your maximum. Fourth step, when maximum value, when maximum value of the game is equal to the minimax value of the game, the maximum value of the game is equal to the minimax value of the game. The corresponding pure strategy pure strategy are called optimum strategies. Okay. So for 2 marks question, they will give you a matrix. Okay, they will give you a matrix and tell you to find out your maximum and minimax. Okay. So if they're asking you to find out like that, what you should do is, your first step is to see your row minima and column maxima. After finding out your row minima and column maxima, in your row minima, you will find out your maximum value. That maximum value will become your maximum. Okay. And in your column, what you will have to see? You have to see your minimum value. Your minimum value you'll have to see. That minimum value will become your maximum. Okay. That will become your maximum. And your row wise you saw your maximum value. No? That will become your minimum. Okay, when you do problems, you will understand. So this will become the procedure. If you have written the procedure, we will go on to problems. Have you all written down the procedure? Following your attendance 1.